Hello, and welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday, presented by Delta Media Group, where we believe that strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. I mean, supreme executive power is derived from a mandate from the masses, and not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. So, today, we are going to jump in. I'm actually a little excited today. We've been going over a lot of old features, and updates to features. Here we have something brand new today. So this is going to be kind of fun. So let's jump into the DeltaNet and take a look. We are going to look at Open House Connector, which is our brand new system. What it's designed to do is, man, eyes are getting foggy already. I'm that excited. What this is designed to do is let you download an app on your iPad and then sign into the app, and then you can just set it up at your open house. You can direct open house attendees to it, or you can wait till after they run the open house. It's all in how you want to present this to them. But the idea is they can go to your iPad, they can answer a few survey questions, and you can turn on and off questions at this point, and enter their contact information. And then what the system will do is whenever your iPad reconnects to the internet, assuming it's not already connected while you're at the open house, it will push all that information into your contact database automatically. So you're capturing their contact information and you're capturing all their survey question answers all on the fly in the open house and just through the app. So basically a virtual sign-in sheet that you can just run on your iPad. So to set this up, what you'll do, and I'm on an account where I don't have it set up, so you can see the first step of the setup process here, is you scroll down to Listings and go down to Open House Connector. There you'll find a button that says Enable Open House Connector. All you do is click it, and then that'll take you to kind of the Open House homepage, or I've heard it referred to as the library page too, which is kind of interesting. So once you click that, you will see a page that looks like this one. I'll just jump over to an account that already has it. And Listings, Open House Connector. And there you go. So you'll find yourself on a page like this one. From here, you can see any of the listings that you have up right now that these will be listings that the survey has been filled out for. So what these are is basically, these are the results of the use of the app. So this won't, even if you have some open houses coming up, initially this section is going to be blank. But then after you've used this at some open houses, after you've gotten some survey questions answered, after you've had some people sign up, you'll be able to go back here and you'll be able to click on these and see more information about each one. And we'll swing back over and go over that here in a moment. So first off, you have your Open House Connector credentials. You want to keep those in mind because those are what you'll need to log into the app. And then over here, you have the links to go and get the app. Right now, it is only available for iOS devices, and it's built for tablets. So right now, it's only available for iPads. If you click there, like if you're on your iPad and you tap this, that'll take you to the App Store where you can download the app. Or you can just go to the App Store and find it and download it that way. Once it's in place, you'll also be able to do this on Android tablets. You'll just have this link, click here, and that'll take you to the Google Play Store where you can get the app. So to control how this works or what happens within the app, we can click on this Settings button here. And then these are all the settings currently available for the Open House Connector. So first, you have survey questions. At some point, you may be able to customize these questions, what the questions actually are. Right now, you can just turn them on and off. So that's what all of these little buttons are here. And then you can also change the order of these questions. So we'll go ahead and turn some on and some off. I'll just pick at random here. And then if I want to make this the first question, I'll just drag it up here. And then when I have them set up the way I want, I just hit Save, and that saves my survey questions. Now as we scroll down, the next thing we can have here is you can turn on or off this autoresponder, and this is an email autoresponder that'll fire off to the customer as soon as they've signed up. I believe it goes into, actually I don't know if this one goes into mail queue. I'd imagine it goes out right away actually. But what you can do is customize what this thank you message says, or what this autoresponder says. So by default, thank you for attending my open house. You can see that'll fill in with the customer's first name, that'll fill in with the open house address. And you have all of these kind of codes that you can put in here to fill in with dynamic information instead of just being a static email. So it just helps to personalize these a bit. And so you can customize that however you see fit. You can also turn it off altogether with this little switch here. When you have that set up the way you want, you hit Update, and that'll save the settings for that section. And then the next thing you have is the Open House guest imports. So by default, this is going to be turned on, and what this is going to do is when customers sign up using your app, when your app reconnects to the internet, again, if it's not already connected, the system will automatically pull in all the customers that signed up, just all the information for all those customers, and create contacts for them in your leads database in the DeltaNet. And they'll show up in your customer center like anybody else. What it will also do is automatically create a group specific to the open house they signed up on. So that way, it'll be very easy for you to go into the customer center, go to your groups, and see all the customers that signed up at a particular open house right there. And you can even market to them in a specific way because they're already in a group. So that is pretty cool. It'll do that as long as you're importing these either way. Now, if you want everyone that comes in through the open house connector to also go into a specific group that you define in addition to that open house specific group, you can type a group name here, open house connector contacts. And then what it'll do is when it imports them, in addition to going into their open house specific group, it'll go into this group as well. So say you have, you use this at 3 different open houses. All the customers from each of those 3 open houses are going to go into a group specific to the open house that they actually attended, but all of them from all 3 open houses will go into this group as well if you have something typed in here and have this saved. So that is how this works. Now, the next thing you can do is if I flip this switch, I can turn it off, and then what it's going to do instead, and I'll go ahead and save that, is the system will find that there are kind of pending contacts for an open house, but it won't import them automatically. You'll be able to go back to the home page. You'll see everybody who has signed up on an open house. You'll be able to click on that open house and then import them manually, just whenever you choose. So that is how that is set up to work. So now, once you use this at a few open houses, these will pop up here, and I'll go ahead and click on one. You can see it gives me details for that open house. So I can see 11 guests have signed in total. This is when the open house was. This is what the property was. Because I have turned off the automatic import, I have a Perform Customer Import button here. So if I had pending customers here, I could click Perform Customer Import, and it'll import all the pendings. And then these are all the questions that were answered for this particular open house. And you can see as I expand them, it gives me information about what their responses were. So there you go. That is the DeltaNet side of the Open House Connector interface. Now, to use the app, what you'll need to do is once you have the app downloaded, you'll open it up on your iPad, and then you will sign in with the credentials that are here. So this is actually just my DMG agent ID, so that's what that first value is. And the second one is a PIN number that the system generates for you. So let's see. So this is what the Open House Connector app will look like, and if I can remember what that PIN was. Maybe. So what you'll be looking at is this screen on your iPad where you'll have this login button and your PIN, or the login field and the PIN field. So you just fill in those two and you hit login. Now you should only have to do this the first time that you log into the app. And you can see it takes a little bit to get connected, find any pending open houses, all that stuff. So we'll give it a moment while it takes my request under advisement.
During that time, let's answer some questions.
Oh, we have some questions, do we? Look at that. We have a bunch of questions from, man, we have a lot of questions today.
All right.
Look at that. I even have an open house in here. Look at me.
So, first things first, when will it be available for Android?
When will it be available? When will it be available for Android? I have no idea. It's on the horizon. I'm told it will be soon, but the best they'll give me is soon. We'll make an announcement when it does come out on Android, so that'll be apparent to everyone.
All right, next question. Tablets only, or will it be available for phones as well?
Right now it's only planned for tablets, and the idea is that if you're using your phone, it wouldn't be something that the customer signs up on. They could give you their information, and the DeltaNet is all mobile responsive, so you could still enter them into the DeltaNet by hand on your phone. But right now this is only planned for tablets.
All right. If a client is already in the database, will it add as a duplicate?
I don't believe so. It should find a matching email address. Now, I know for sure that if a customer comes in and tries to fill out the survey twice at an open house, it's not going to let them do that. It'll find that they already exist in that system. I haven't tested it yet to see if I create a contact manually in the DeltaNet and then I go in and create one through Open House Connector with the same email address, if it'll create a second one. So I don't know. I'll just have to get back to you. What else do we got?
that's, what if it's a broker who brings or sends their clients through?
Well, just anybody who signs up on the app is going to, it'll create them as a contact in your database. So anybody who fills in their contact information then completes the survey that we'll see in here.
And then lastly, if an agent is hosting an open house...
And Lorraine asked that question like 4 times. Thanks, Lorraine.
Do the contacts go to the host or the listing agent?
Right now, and we have a ticket in place to make some adjustments for this, but right now you can only do an open house for your own listings. So that is all the app works for today. I think very soon, like within the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping, you'll be able to do an open house for listings that are not yours. You'll be able to host another agent's, or host an open house at another agent's listing, because that's very common. When that does happen, those leads will go to the host, not to the listing agent, if that makes sense. That makes sense, right?
Sure. Is there a field for the customer to show whether they're already represented by another agent? I think there was a question for that.
Yeah, we've had a question to add that. Did we add that question in? I don't think we added it in, though.
I think it was one of the
Here, let me
questions.
see. So if we go over to settings, down here to our survey questions, are you currently being represented by a real estate agent? So it doesn't really fill in the field for that. Like, they can't fill in who they are being represented by, but it does give them the option of saying if they are represented by another agent. So they would fill out the survey that way. And then you have the survey question answers related to the contact, so you would be able to know that. But it does still store them as a contact in your database. All right, so our app loaded up. So let's run down the line and see what we got here. So you'll see when you first log into the app, the first thing you're going to get is all of the open houses that you're available to run the app for. These should be any of your upcoming open houses. So I'll go ahead and click on my open house, and this is the open house screen. You can see that it'll look better on the app, but the way I have it loaded up is kind of oh, what has happened? What have I done? What have I done? I'm going to have to sign in again. I'm loading it up in a little bit of a strange way, so there we go. You can see it loads much faster once it loads the first time. So there we go, and there we go. Now my button lined up. So the idea is that you can either present this to guests at an open house as they come in, or as they're leaving, depending on how you want to, how you want to manage your open house. Or you can just, set this up in the kitchen like you would set up a sign-up sheet, something like that, and then customers can just go in and they can fill out this as a sign-up sheet. You can see it has your branding on here, or in this case, my branding. Has some information about the open house itself, and then the idea is the customer can just go here and they'll tap on sign in, put in their information, and fill out the questions. So we'll go ahead and run through those, but real quick while we're on this screen, you also have a little counter here at the top, so that even at the open house, you can very easily kind of walk by the app and take a look to see how many people have signed up. So we'll click on sign in. We'll put in a name, Mr. Attendee. Matt Endy. That's probably somebody's actual name. So we just put in a name and email address, hit next, maybe, there we go, and it will ask me the questions. Now at this point, if let's say I'm a customer and I just put in my information and I don't feel like answering the questions and I walk away, the screen will sit here on its own for a while, and then ultimately it will time out. When it does time out, it will go ahead and record the contact information that the customer already put in. So it'll still hang on to that information even if they walk away and let it time out. But I can go through here and answer these questions. If I'm a customer and I decide that I just want to fire through them, I don't actually have to answer the questions. I can just move through and it'll record that as just unanswered. But the idea is that I would answer all the questions. And I hit save. Now that I've answered all the questions, it gives me a little thank you page. And again, with my branding there, this is now stored in the app. So when the app is reconnected or when the device is reconnected to the internet, it'll pull in all your contacts. And we hit done. And that's it. And you can see one person has signed up, and there you go. So that is pretty much all there is to it, to the app. Now you do have, and you can't really see it, but you'll be able to see it on the app, the little admin button down there at the bottom. If I click on that, that allows me to end the open house, which would let me, I can fire this open house back up again because it's going to record the response in relation to the open house, not the time I ran the app. So if I if I close this out or the tablet crashes or something and I reopen it, all those responses are still going to be recorded with that open house. But I can, say I'm leaving one open house and I'm going to another. I can end open house, end open house. There we go. And it takes me back to my open house selection screen where I could select from the other open houses. Now the other thing I can do there is I can click on provide feedback, and this is designed for you to give us feedback about the app. So if you click on that, you can just answer the questions there and fill out any feedback. And we are looking for feedback on this, so any suggestions you have, anything you want to see added to it, let us know, and we'll kind of assess that, see if we want to put it on the roadmap for the next time that we update the Open House connector. And then lastly, I can log out, which takes me just back to the login screen in the app. And there you go. That is Open House Connector. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, which it looks like we may actually have some more questions, concerns, and comments already.
All right. First things first. Can you be logged into 2 tablets at the same time?
You should be able to be logged into 2 tablets at the same time. I haven't tested that either, but I believe that would work. Like if you wanted to set one up in the kitchen and one in the foyer as people walk in the door, something like that. To my knowledge, that'll work, but we'll test it.
Right. Will the results be tallied and sent to the sellers?
No. No, as it is now, all the results and everything that's in there is actually stored just in the app and then just in your contact database. The only thing that goes back... Actually, no, that's not right. I was thinking to the customers. To the sellers, this information should be included in the seller reports. I haven't seen how they look on the seller report templates yet because this whole thing is, it's brand new. But yes, this information can be included on the seller reports.
Right. What if you have coming soon listing that isn't available in the MLS yet?
As long as the Open House connector finds an open house in the system for it, it will pick it up with the app. So the idea would be, even if it's a coming soon listing, say you add an open house to the DeltaNet, and why not? Why don't we jump back into the DeltaNet and look at it? If we can figure out how to do that. There we go. Look at that. On the fly today. So if I go to listings, and then, there we go, active listings here. So we take a look at, these are just a few pocket listings I have in the system. One of these could be a coming soon. So if you had entered a coming soon listing as a pocket listing, you would be able to go in here, click on it, and then scroll on down. Don't tell me now. There we are, open houses. So you should still have this open house section available as long as the company can restrict whether or not agents can add open houses or not. But assuming that none of that's turned off, which by default it isn't, you would be able to go into your coming soon listing, scroll down to this open house section, add an open house manually, and now that there's an open house in the system for that listing, even though that listing is not really in the MLS, because none of these are, all of my listings are just entered as pocket listings, they'll show up and be selectable in the app.
All right. Is there a place for general comments, like for the customer, maybe just to leave some feedback on the house?
I see that. Not yet. Right now it's just the radio button, like multiple choice answer questions. We're looking at adding questions and adding the ability to make customizable questions, both at the company level and at the agent level, but it's just not something that's part of the app yet. So version 2, or maybe version 1.5.
All right. And then this last one, it sounds more just like a roundabout way of, is there a way to enter custom questions?
Default it to just sign in.
Question customization.
Yeah, the question customization just comes down to turning them on and off at this point. But again, the idea is that down the road, you'll be able to actually put in your own custom questions. And that's kind of the road we want to go down with it. Again, I don't have an ETA or anything on that, but that's kind of what we have planned for it from what I've heard. But for now, let's say that you fashion your open houses in such a way that, because the questions in there, some of them are more like, this is for someone who has seen the house already. Like they've walked in, they've done all their walking around, and then on the way out the door, they use this. They fill out the survey to say what they think of the property. A lot of the questions are kind of geared that way. So you can use them that way, or if you just want people to just fill it out real quick as they walk in the door, you could turn off every question except for, are you working with a real estate agent? If you just leave that one turned on, then as people come in, they would sign in, say whether or not they're working with an agent already, and then hit the button and then just move through the open house like they normally would. So you won't get answers to the other questions that way. But kind of the cool thing about this is that you can create a group, like for the custom import called Open House Connector Group, and then put that group in an email campaign. So when people come in, they can sign in, only answer your one question, but then maybe the first email in your email campaign is a series of questions that you just want them to answer, like regular survey questions. Real quick, could you let me know what you thought of the property, stuff like that. So even though it's not set up that way by default, you could still use this in conjunction with the campaign system to get questions like that answered after the fact, if that makes sense. All right, so it's been a good Tech Tuesday today. All right, let's move our screen back to the thing. There we are. I've grown. So thanks a lot for joining me this week. Had a lot of good questions today, which is atypical of a Tech Tuesday, but we can handle it. That's what we do around here. So thanks a lot for joining me. Have any questions, concerns? Feel free to send an email into support@deltagroup.com or comment on any of our videos. Any of the questions that we didn't have an answer for, we'll go ahead and get those researched and send you an answer. And we'll see you again next week with something else new. Thanks a lot.